Testing. So thank you everyone who's come. I just let you know that I've just turned the live stream on, so we're live. People on YouTube can actually see us. So there's two cameras, one in the corner there and then one covering this. So just be aware that you're being filmed. Okay, so we will, just for everybody's sake, we will start at 5:15 sharp with the candidate panel. If all the candidates are here, I have a drawing of where you're going to sit. So if you can pick a number, 1 till 11. So whatever number you get, that's basically where you're going to see it. So luck of the draw.
Can we start?
Yeah.
All right.
So come and pick a number.
I will be the first. All right.
Since we were the first here.
Yes. Number 10.
Okay. So that would be
Here.
Guess what? 8.
8.
Okay, so
Ladies first.
thank you.
Sorry.
Uh-oh, I had 2. That's one right there.
Okay.
I don't want to touch it.
So just a chime check, 509. So we'll start 5:15 sharp. So any candidate who has not picked a number, yeah, no, that's sister of you. Just 3 minutes to go. So let me just see. Good evening, everyone. If I can get the candidates to take their designated seats that they chose through the luck of draw, and then we can get started. We do have extra chairs if we run out on chairs, so we have some contingency.
you 8? I'm 8.
So I'm going to trust
Oh.
everybody to be able to pass this.
Yeah,
We only
yes.
have 2 microphones.
We're going to pass it.
Better than one, but then we're going to be better.
Why do these chairs feel so low?
They do.
Right?
How you feel?
So we're waiting for just 2 more candidates. Just give it a couple of minutes. I just want to give them, because they are coming, and there's a lot of traffic in Mountain House lately, so they may be stuck in that, you know. So let's give them some margin for error. So as we do that, let me just quickly explain the format of today's event. So the idea is that we're going to have a panel conversation where, you know, people from the audience, will give them the opportunity to ask direct questions. There's you know, nothing scripted. We have some questions that people have submitted. We're going to go through those as well. Give each of the candidate the opportunity to respond to a question. If the question is directly directed to them, then, you know, they can respond. And if one of the other panelists wants to chime in and wants to, you know, add their comments, you know, we'll allow that to do. We'll start off by letting everybody on the panel to introduce yourself. We hope that you can do that within 30 seconds. You know, don't go into too much detail. Just brief who you are, why you're standing, and what do you think you can do for the community. And then the questions, those from the audience who ask the question, we request that keep it very brief, keep it simple. Don't make commentary, just ask a question that you have, and then allow the candidates, you know, between 1.5 to 2 minutes to respond to that question. So given the time constraints we have, we're trying to keep it as tight as possible. And then after the first hour, the idea is that we have tables set up for each of the candidates, so they can go to their booths and they can have an interactive one-to-one conversation with whomever wants to have that conversation with them. So the real essence of today is to give the candidates another chance to communicate with the community, and for the community to go up to them personally, engage with them, and find out, you know, more about themselves in a more private setting as well. So with that, let me just start. We'll start from right to left. Whichever way it is, depends where you are, what perspective. And with Wahid Mir, you can try and keep it 30 seconds. Just introduce yourself, and you can take the mic off if you want to, or you can just keep it that way, however you feel comfortable.
All right.
Thank you
so much. Good evening. My name is Wahid Mir. I have been living in Bethany for more than 13 years. And now that I have to keep it within 30 seconds, I will try to be as brief as possible. I have been keeping myself engaged in the education activities, being an educator with various nonprofit organizations, and continue to do so locally. In addition, I have also had opportunity to serve in the Mountain House Board of Directors, Mountain House Cricket Club. So the Board of Directors, I have served to see that how the sport grows. And now, quickly, I am running as a City Council member, and the passion I have is for this historic change that we are going to embark on. I want to be part of this change and see that how to drive this change. I have the necessary skill sets to accomplish these objectives, and I would appreciate your support in this regard, and associated with how we transition from Mountain House Service District to Mountain House as a city by itself, which is the Major D. And we will get a chance, hopefully, to talk in more details about Major D. Thank you.
I'll take it off.
Good evening. My name is Ronna Green. I have been a resident of Mountain House. I bought in 2005. I moved in 2006. I have been closely following Mountain House politics, should I say, for years now. I attend the Mountain House CSD board meetings. I try to stay up on the things that are going on in Mountain House. The reason why I'm running for city council is because we need a strong city council. We need a city councilor that can communicate well, that is an effective listener, that has the heart of all the residents of Mountain House. I will be here to support each and every one of you. I am not showing any favoritism, maybe a little bit, but when I get nervous, I make jokes, but I'll be all right in just a minute. Calming down.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bernice King Tingle, and I've been living in Mountain House since 2003. I call myself one of the early pioneers. So that's going on 21 years. I moved to Mountain House in 2003 because I was actually sold in on the project's master plan and what this development would look like if we stuck with the plan, because I knew I'd moved out of Pleasanton and I saw what happens when you stick to a plan. I have been serving you on the board for the last 15 years, and it's 15 years that I've been dedicated and enjoyed simply because I'm looking at the vision that was determined a long time ago that would be best for not only myself and my family of just me and a dog when I have one occasionally, but for you to move things forward, to stay with the dream. I have, early on, there were some things that I was interested in before we even had a independent board. That was transportation. So some of the things that have been important are coming to realization. The time is clicking. Do consider me to continue to work hard for you.
Good evening. My name is Suresh Vairu. I born in a farming family. I watched in my family. They used to solve the problems of the neighbors. I grown up watching those things. So public service is my calling. At the same time, so when I moved to Mountain House in 2020, I started conducting events and then connected with the community through the events. Through my nonprofit organization, I am providing services, annual recreational services and sports services. And then also I'm an active volunteer in our community. And then I'm the best Rotarian for 2023. So since if anything I take up, I will be committed and consistently work on it. That's why the reward I got in this last year for 2023 in the Rotary. At the same time, I'm a best advocate in the board meetings or community meetings. As a role of city council, that is very important, and then providing the services and giving the time to the community. So I feel I am very much committed for this community, and then I would like to serve as a city council member. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Sadia Khan. I am also one of the city council candidates running for this in this election. I'm a resident of Mountain House for the last 7 years. I am from Canada originally, and I was a human resource manager for Walmart Canada for 10 years. So I'm a people person, and I enjoy taking care of my community, and that's about it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Harry Dillon. I'm right now Director Mountain House Community Services District since 2020. And I live in Mountain House in Bethany Village for last 20 years with my beautiful wife and 3 boys. They are grown up now. And I'm very passionate to work for the community. I'm very much committed, and whatever is to bring Mountain House as a name, best city in the area. So I run a Royal Kings basketball program, which is youth sports program for little kids to all the way to 12th grade. Also feeder program for MS Stallion, which is tackle football. And I'm also chairman for Mountain House Public Safety Committee. and a member of Transportation Committee, and also 239 tri-link, 3 counties connected with each other, San Joaquin County, Contra Costa, and Alameda County. And if I'm given a chance, I'm running for mayor, and I'll be your full-time mayor. We'll be in a transition from the CSD to city. We need a mayor who can dedicate it, who got the knowledge, who has a working experience with the counties and state officials. That's why most of the state officials and county officials has endorsed me. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Tejdeep Singh Ratan. I'm a member of the Armed Forces. I live in Hanson Village with 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and my beautiful wife, Jasjeet Singh. And at my civilian education, I'm a dentist. By profession, I'm an engineer, and I have an MBA in management as well, too. So I can contribute a lot. I currently just got picked up for battalion command here at Camp Parks for a training division, and I live here. I believe there's a lot of things I can work on. My kids are going to grow up over here. Healthcare is my top priority. My parents live with me. I definitely have my compass towards that side as well too. If I get a chance, I'll make some things happen. Over.
Thank you, Omar, for setting this up. Good evening, everyone. My name is Raj Reddy, and I live in Bethany for the past 18 years with my beautiful wife and 2 high school going kids. By profession, I'm a software engineer, works for a large healthcare industry in Bay Area. I co-founded 2 nonprofits here, Mountain House, to unite the people of Mountain House, not just Mountain House or other cities around the Mountain House. Not only that, I have lots of community service experiences coming from serving the people from worldwide, not just here in US. The reason I'm running for the mayor is we need a new person who can think outside of the box, who is coming up with a new perspective, who has not just has a tunnel vision, who can bring a new ideas, new begin. We can start a new beginning. That's a primary reason why I'm running this for the mayor. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Dan Harrison, and I'm a resident of Cuesta since 2011. Married to my beautiful wife, Carol, and I have a son and daughter. I have 39 years for public safety. I was a police officer. I was on the board here from 2016 to 2020, and while I was on the board, I spearheaded us getting all of our cameras here in Mountain House. The reason why I'm running is, again, because we need change, and I understand our community, our diverse community that we have, and I want to be able to, my #1 priority is public safety, and I want to make sure that our kids are safe, our families are safe, which is what Mountain House has expected before, and I want to continue that. Thank you.
So before I pass it on to Matt to introduce himself, I just want to acknowledge Andy Sue did say from the outset that because he's got commitment of coaching the tennis, so he was juggling all of that stuff. So, you know, don't count it. He's trying to rush here as soon as possible. Okay. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you so much.
Hey, good evening. My name is Matt Disco. I'm a Southern California resident, moved to the Bay Area in 2011 to help launch Lyft as employee #7. I looked at Mountain House when I first came up the 5 and then stayed the night, drove to work on Monday for my first day and was 2 hours late because I didn't imagine how terrible the Altamont really was getting into the Bay Area. So I moved to SF, where I continued working at Lyft, helped it grow from employee 7 to 1,600 employees. Then I left in 2016 to General Motors Corporation, helping with autonomous car share. 2019, Lyft went public. I exited tech, left General Motors, and moved to Mountain House. In my first couple months here, I volunteered in the community, leading community cleanups with the high school students and residents. Started doing handyman stuff part-time because I was going crazy and was very bored at home during the pandemic. 2021, I launched Mountain House Events, hosted the largest 4th of July out of pocket that year when the CSD didn't have time after the pandemic to organize it. We had 4,000 people. 2022, ran for the board, won first place with no signs, just on good merit and things that I had done in my community that I was recognized for. Decided to run for city council to maintain a position and be the lifeline between the community and government. And just past 2 weeks, we launched Mountain House Chamber to help stimulate and bring growth and advocate for local businesses and to bring new storefronts to Mountain House so that we have more revenue coming in for the city. Thank you.
So if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to start with some of the questions that were submitted online. And just want to acknowledge there are some questions which actually don't make any sense at all from a perspective. I mean, they're good questions, not taking away the merit of the questions, but they're specifically for the school district. This panel is not for the school district. Or there is at least one or two questions which are basically the economy in general, which is not something you guys are going to solve. So I think it's not fair to actually use time up for that. So with the first question is basically what actions you have to increase financial transparency and why 3 million for county services is a bad thing. So this is about, I'm assuming this is about, transparency in finances in the CSD. And I don't know where the 3 million figure comes from. Maybe we. It's what we would get automatically. Okay. So, if this is to all the panels. I mean, raise your hand if you want to answer this question. You can pass. So can you rephrase the question? So the question, the way it's written, what action you have to increase the financial transparency? So I think we can just stick to that. Sure. Yeah. So keep it simple. What action would you take to increase financial transparency? So I saw Bernice and Harry, so you can start with that.
Hello, hello. Okay. One of the ways that we can increase financial transparency is that anything that we're doing is part of public record. So you can go online. But the more people know, the more people can react, and the more people can let the board of directors or the council know what you want. But financial transparency is extremely important because then you can tell yourself which way our direction would be going as far as we needed more things for taxes and what have you. But the short answer is that everything that the board does, everything that a council does or a city does, it should be on record for everyone in the community that are taxpayers. That is your right to have information on what's going on. And we should absolutely see that it happens.
Transparency is a very important subject, and this in my election agenda also. It was there in 2020 also. There should be very transparent government. And people of residents of Mountain House need to know from where the funds are coming and where the funds are flowing. And most of it is laid down on the website, but once I become the mayor, I'll have a committee from the residents who will keep a track on all the contracts and RFPs, and because I've seen past, I was talking about we have some contracts which there was no competition bids. So that's another transparency issue. So I will make sure that resident of Mountain House knows what's going on, what's going on with the taxes. Thank you.
Wahid, if you wanted to respond, and then I have Tajdeep and Raj and Dan.
Thank you so much. So for the transparency, the trigger becomes from the residents itself. We obviously have to show more interest. I will give this as an example. In the recent board meeting, I was there, and there were 2 items where it was to be general manager to be authorized for a spend of around $250,000. And I, as a resident, gave the public comment that what further due diligence could have been done in certain aspect of, like it was probably related to IoT for smart cities, Internet of Things for smart cities, how it can be implemented. So with regards to that, it boils down to all of us as residents, including the board of directors, for example, who will cooperate in that case, collaborate, to see that how much of a transparency, how much of this due diligence being done for certain funds to be used can be made easy access to public so that they can generate questions based on that. Thank you.
Anybody from College Park here? Raise your hands. No one. They're all missing. Okay. So we just had an extensive Zoom meeting on, you know, issues people have at College Park. Transparency could be further split into transparent leadership and transparent governance. They're very important, both of them. At this moment, the CSD is doing a pretty good job. They have a website. There's mailings coming in with what's going on. Mountain House Matters, there he is. He's doing a wonderful job. Town halls are happening, but why are these people making so much noise in College Park? There is some gaps still. We still need to work on getting the information out there. We are growing really fast, but we are not able to get to a lot of people. So we ought to consider doing town halls in every village, for that matter, because people can join, or you know, maybe they have difficulty joining. I kept on telling the College Park folks, I'm like, first you show me what you need, and then we'll have a Zoom meeting. But they said, they were very adamant. They said, hey, I don't have much time. I'm traveling all the time. So can we make it more convenient for them? Maybe. So my job, as I come on, I have a lot of operational experience. I'm a combat veteran. There are a lot of skills I'm going to be bringing in, which is going to set things straight. Dress right, dress. Have SOPs. You know, which will make the process a lot easier. Of course, it's not going to happen without you guys' inputs. That will be presented to you. And as you know, folks from every college say, yes, you know, we can maybe venture into making this process a little bit more easier. Thank you.
Well, I agree with what Teji was saying. There are two types: transparency, governance, as well as the leadership. But for anything, transparency is the core for the governance. If we do not have transparency, then we lose the hope on the governance. So every penny which is coming in and going out into our Mountain House revenue should be made available for every single person, every single resident. They are doing it now. But let's use the technology to its best. I'm coming from a background of software background, and there are ways we can present the data to the users, to the residents and individuals. A picture speaks 1,000 words. What today have is instead of putting the tabular, let's put a report out, because everyone understands report better than a number. So let's use the technology. I'm just giving the example there. Let's use the technology, present it better. Let's make every resident understand what that means, where the money is coming from, where the money is going. And again, every person is important, and we need to find a better ways to take this information to every resident. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo on the fact with when we have our contracts or an RFP goes out, in the past what we've seen is the districts like, oh, okay, well, we only got this one vendor because we don't believe that somebody else could do it. I'll just pick like landscaping, for example. And that's not being transparent, you know, and that's being lazy from our district. So, you know, we need to have RFPs, get other people involved. Maybe there will be a better bid in the same product. That being said, also too, is I hear all the time, even when I was on the board, oh, you know what, hey, we need to pay this contract, you know, some more money because they're doing this for us. well, you know what, I meant, and they say, oh, well, it's in the budget, so it's been, we could do it. Well, no, there's timelines, and I meant, if you have a contract, and that contract states that, hey, you're going to do this, and this is the time it's going to end, then it ends. You don't come back to the board and ask for more money just because you haven't been able to fulfill your obligations. So timelines are very important, so I just wanted to put that out. Thank you.
The question that was asked is about transparency and finances. And one thing that's really important, and one of the reasons why I'm running for city council, is because it is my responsibility as a resident to ask the questions, to ask about finances, to read the reports, to come to the meetings. We depend on other people to give us the information, but it is our responsibility as a resident, not just, I understand being on a board and everything and the responsibilities, but it is more of you than it is of us. Ask the questions. You'll get the answers. You can't get an answer to a question that isn't asked. So it's not necessarily it's not transparent. It's just if you don't ask the question, you're not going to get the answer. So there's more to just saying what we're going to do. I don't make empty promises. I don't really know, because as far as I'm concerned, I go to CSD meetings. I look at the reports just like Wahid. He asked the question about the finances and about the money, and is there other ways that maybe we can get it done cheaper? Maybe yes, maybe no, but he asked the question. And as residents of Mountain House, you guys have a right to ask whatever it is that you want to know from your government. And if I don't have an answer, trust me, I know somebody that does, and I will get it back to you. So it's not just always on us. It's on us as a whole.
Yeah, the question here is the financial transparency, nothing to do with any other villages or related issues related to villages. So the financial transparency right now, so we see, how much the budget is going for a particular item, for example, as we are talking about the landscaping issue. So I'm the one raised that issue in the meetings, because I'm very regularly attend to the meeting. So when we are doing auto renewal, and then also those contracts are not coming in like 3 months ahead of time or 6 months ahead of time to the board or the board members, as of I know, as of what I am following. But I can often see that like they are coming up with the same contract, like, okay, so for certain reasons, I'm requesting board for 150,000, 140,000. But I have seen these board members never asked any details to show up. Of course, maybe the data, the expenses are in the database, or maybe they are accessible. But these board members never requested the staff show me the details of those expenses. I never seen that. So I would like to improve that part. I will request, the staff or the city manager, so to give the details of the denomination more than 20,000, or we can set anything, but more than 20,000 onwards, we wanted to retrieve the total expenses, whether it's a contract or not. So that kind of transparency I would like to improve, and I would like to propose along with my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So so Sadia and then Matt. Is that okay, sir? Matt? Yeah. Okay.
So for me, financial transparency is communication between us and the public, and I'm one of the public as well. And we just ask questions, we be there. If we can't be there, we go on Zoom and connect with them and figure out what's going on. We shouldn't be blaming, we should actually getting connected and hanging out together to figure out what's going on. Thank you.
So I'm going to piggyback off of two comments here. One, board transparency in terms of the packet that not only every board member gets, that can be in excess of 500 pages for one meeting, that gets dumbed down into 2.5 pages and is summarized for the general public. Otherwise, if we broke down all 500 pages, we would be there the entire week for one single meeting. So it's up to the board members and the general public to access that data that's presented publicly to the residents online. So if you Google MHCSD board meetings, you all can access that same docket that we are receiving with all of the breakdowns and numbers and the summarized total that is obviously simplified and presented by the staff and the contractors when we do these presentations. So for sake of time, it is very simplified. It does look like one number. For anyone on the board or for anyone who is savant with our meetings, that access is open to all at the same time that the board member receives it a week in advance. What Ivana was saying about tackling issues for communications, I completely, wholeheartedly feel the CSD is not properly channeling communications with the residents. It's been an ongoing issue. Manny Moreno a year ago suggested we hire a PR firm to mitigate some of the damage, because right now I'm currently running around social media, driving out in the field, responding to after-hour concerns, flashing lights, liabilities we could get sued for if somebody gets hurt. I don't mind doing that. I don't have kids. I have 2 dogs. They'll jump in the car and go for a ride anytime and are happy to do it. I'm happy to do it to avoid somebody from twisting their ankle in a pothole, staying up all night because lights are flashing in front of their house, and then I'll wake up Steve or Jody, our general and deputy general managers, and get the ball rolling after hours. I don't mind doing that, but it's not my job to do that. So the more and more I do this, the more evidence I have to go and present to the staff that we need somebody on call 24/7, monitoring go requests, delegating out responsibilities to our subcontractors who are available 24/7 if our immediate staff is not. And that's something I've been pushing for. But again, it costs more hours, increases our budget. And what happens on a 3-day weekend like this past, like today, ending today, and there's no calls? Now we've paid somebody. So until we can really gauge the demand for that, it's not going to catch any traction. Thank you.
I'll let you chime in for and respond to it, because otherwise, you know. Okay, so I'm just going to take one more question in the interest of people who turned up. I want to give them the opportunity to ask questions, because I think it's really good to see the community involved in this. I think if we had half of these people at the CSD board meeting, a lot of the questions that have been asked would. So, just one. You could be. I'll tweak it. So the. Okay. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. No worries. So. So this is one for everyone, and I think it's if we can keep the responses short, then we can have the opportunity of the audience asking direct questions, and I can shut up for a change. What is the most important thing that you have learned about the way in which Mountain House is governed since you began your campaign? So I'm going to start that, if you don't mind, with those who are new, because obviously those who are incumbent already know a lot. That's not to say that I won't give you the opportunity to respond. So I'll start with.
The way Mountain House CSD is governed at this moment is defined by the prerogatives, the rules and regulations they have at this moment. What I have seen, the question says, ever since I began my campaign, and particularly specific to with the ambition level of turning Mountain House Incorporated into a city, these 6 additional powers which we will get as we are incorporated in the city, these 6 additional powers will definitely empower the city council in making much better informed decisions, which are data-driven decisions, and influenced by obviously the need of the community, and then being driven to the solutions by the data-driven. At this point in time, for example, I would not list all the 6 additional powers that we are getting, but with these 6 additional powers, we'll be definitely in a much better position in making our decisions more effective. Thank you.
So can you say the question again, please? That's it.
What have you learned about the way Mountain House is governed today since you started your campaign?
That's a really good question. I've learned since I've been campaigning that you know what, it's not that I even really have to think about it, but one thing that I've learned about campaigning is that I don't like to campaign. And, you know, so it's been very hard in this campaign, and I feel like I know a lot of things about, I've been on boards before, I'm actually on our HOA board, so as far as going over documents and reading things and having to make decisions and stuff, I'm very good at that. But something about campaigning for me makes me know that we need to learn how to all play together as one in the sandbox, and that we're all fighting and striving for the same thing. And it should not be this hard to want to serve your community basically as a volunteer. And so it doesn't make sense that we cannot, as a candidacy, get along. We're going to have to work together. There's 4 of us on here for city council that's going to have to work together. And there's 3 down there. We're all going to work together, because I don't think any one of us is going to stop trying to serve Mountain House on the board or off the board. So what I've learned is that we need to learn more. That makes sense.
Oh, so I don't get a chance to say anything, but because I have learned something during. Our community is dynamic. It changes all of the time. We have new people coming into the community that aren't aware of what responsibilities are. So briefly, what I've learned during this campaign season is that we need to educate the public, the members of Mountain House, on what is it that the city council, what is the board, what is it that we're actually responsible for, because many people expect you to do something that's totally out of your area of expertise. That's not your lane. So I think that what needs to happen is we need to educate one another, need to educate the community about what the real responsibilities are, and having in our mind clear what we're responsible for. And that's what I have to say, is that people don't know what to expect because they haven't been given the expectations.
Yeah, I echo the same. Like in my observation, so the current government requires effective communication or creating the awareness, and then a little cut down in this communication. Example I received recently about Measure D, for all my family members received 1 flyer. So I mean, that's one of the things we can improve. But at the same time, effective communication, and then at the same time, like some of the residents feel that, you know, in front of the roadway, parking in front of their home is feeling it's their own parking. So, and then also I see some of the kids, you know, biking, you know, I mean, there is no discipline, so seniors are complaining about that. So our government, you know, frequently, so there is, what I can see is like I mean, of course, the kids, you know, get disciplined from the LUSD. But what I see is LUSD, of course, it's an independent organization, but still, we need to collaborate, you know, effectively to work together, and then, you know, find out these kind of things which we need to improve. That's one of the things which I have seen. Another interesting thing is, recently, I mean, last year we were doing in the farmers market campaign, but this year suddenly changed. You know, I don't understand what's going on here. So this year suddenly changed, and somebody, or maybe the contractor of the farmers market, called the cop. But I don't see the cop comes in the few minutes. Within a few minutes, the cop comes in for emergencies. But the cop came in and, you know, was asking me, you know, are you violating the rules of the campaign? But I did the same thing, similarly the signboards. So something going on, that these things needs to be improved, and that means that is what the effective communication I said. So before the campaign starts, we have to communicate to all the candidates. We should have done the training. What can be done? What are those things? Like all our sign boards are thrown out. Yes, we put the same place as like last year, but those are all thrown out suddenly without giving any notice to us as an individual candidates. This is all mess going on here, which all these residents needs to aware of it. Of course, the government has rules
Thank you,
how
sir.
much we
If-
have to
if you
spend.
can just
Yeah,
pass
thank you
on,
very much. Yeah, thank you.
Really tight on time. Thank you so much.
What I learned campaigning, I actually went door to door with my kids, and we really enjoyed meeting people. What I learned was people are willing to be together and do things together. So once we do become a city, I think we can all make a difference together as a community. Of course, the government officials will do what they're supposed to do, but all of us together can also make a difference. That's what I learned from my campaigning. Thank you.
So CSD been doing their part, educating people about the Measure D and about these elections. And we did so many town hall meetings, and participation was not much, which we were expecting it. Last month when campaign started, right? So I called Steve. I said, I'm meeting people. I'm doing town hall meetings, and people don't know about Measure D. We need to educate people. And a lot of people I meet, they said, are we becoming city? They don't know. Only people, I think, we are bedroom community. We work in Bay Area, come back and sleep here, and don't participate in the general meetings and what CSD send the letters out. So we could able to send that green pamphlet, which explaining about Measure D, what was the benefit of becoming city, and what is Measure E. So that was done. But in my campaign, I meet a lot of people. They got a lot of questions, which I answered it, and I think my campaign is going well right now. Thank you.
Let me reorient myself. Can you go back and repeat that question again?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
question was,
Okay.
what have you learned about the way Mountain House is governed?
Yeah. Let me refocus over here. So, so till today we had 18 powers, and I think with those 18 powers we were able to function well enough that LAFCO, the third party, has approved us that we can enter into the cityhood. Contingent on you guys voting for the city, we will gain more powers. Now, with more powers, we're going to have more responsibilities. So it's pretty much on you guys and on the governance, how we keep it. Now it's more important to run as a city. I think that's my answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, the 18 powers, right? 18 powers are there for us to go on all these years. And we never thought about how can I go outside of 18 powers? Are we, these 18 powers came back in 2005, 2008, when there were only few homes, and we never revisited those 18 powers up until now. Yeah, glad that we are becoming a city. We are going to get new, much needed powers to manage it, to govern ourselves. And what I see is, just going back to what Suresh was saying, one fine day every single board was taken out and thrown somewhere. I mean, there should be some communication. There was none, zero. We had to go and fight for our boards and to put it back where they were taken out from. So we need a better communication from everyone, from every side of it, to and from. And we have a social media, which is very powerful in Mountain House. Let's encourage the new people who are coming in. They are bringing new ideas. Let's encourage them. Let's listen to them. And let's encourage them. That's what I would say. Let's encourage the new people who are coming in. They want to bring the change the way current governance is working or functioning. Thank you.
Yeah. The CSD is, they've done an excellent job for the powers that they have with the 18 powers. And you know, you can't go beyond that. Once we become a city though, we're gonna gain those extra powers and we'll be able to run Mountain House as a city versus being restrained to the 18 powers that we have. So what I've learned that people are engaged, walking door to door. They do want us to become a city, and they support it. So it's been an eye opener, but it's going to be good for the city.
So what I've learned about campaigning this election versus the one I just had to campaign for a year and a half ago is that the residents are taking this one a lot more serious, and the candidates seem to be taking this one a little too serious. I'm going to leave it at that. So there is a lot at stake here. We have a decision whether or not the LAFCO report is correct. We have a decision here whether we want to take some significant risks by becoming a city. I'm not saying we shouldn't become a city, but I want everyone to make an informed decision to know what we're really deciding on before making a decision here. So everyone should make a fully educated decision. If you're listening tonight and you haven't done your research on Measure D or the LAFCO report, I encourage you to. Don't just fall into the trend of, yes, we need to be a city. Absolutely, we need to be a city. But make sure you are informed when you make that decision, and don't let anybody else influence you on how you make that decision. The political agendas up here are different from the goals that you have. Yes, we want to represent you. Yes, we want to support the sustainability of our budgets and how our city runs. But this is an entire decision made by the residents, not just us up here. So please educate yourself, make the right decision. I believe we're ready. That's my belief. Please make your own. Thank you.
Did we miss anybody responding to that question? No? Okay, that's good. So I'm going to open it up to the public here. Thank you very much for coming. I hope so far this is good. You know, we're not professionals at this, so we're trying our best. So please forgive us for any shortcomings. So I'm just going to say that up front. So yeah, I mean, if you just want to line up, there's a hot mic there. I'm going to make sure that it's on, and then you can ask your question. Keep it as short and sweet as possible. And then, you know, if it's directed to a candidate, just mention that, and we will give others an opportunity to kind of chime in if they want to that question. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm going to build on the question that was asked previously. Do you all, are you all in favor of us becoming incorporated as a city? I would think because you're running you would, but I have heard something that contradicts it. So Matt, I know that you've already answered, but for the rest of you.
Yeah, okay. If I can request that, you know, keep this answer very short so that we can get as many questions as possible, because it's almost on a yes and no question, and you'll have the opportunity to respond in person when people come to you in you know. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And I will repeat what I said, because in Andy's presence as well, that Andy was obviously committed to you know, his tennis training, and he had told me up front that he will be late, so, you know, thank you, Andy, for making it. So the question, Andy, before you came, I don't know if you heard it, was basically thumbs up, thumbs down if you're in favor of becoming a city or not.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I'm 100% for Measure D and becoming a city, because I've been a part of this process since the beginning of was it 2015 or 2014? And again, 100% behind it.
If you can pass it on to Harry.
I'm 100% for the city Measure D. Actually, I was the we 3 board members went to LAFCO meeting when they made a unanimous decision to become a city. And one of our board member was against that Measure D. And
Bernice, I'll give you the opportunity to respond. So if
yeah, that's the truth.
it's okay. Let's.
Yeah, it's recorded there. So I don't know why the candidates are running for the council if they're against Measure D. We need to ask the question. So I'm for Measure D. This will bring historical change in the Mountain House. Thank you.
Okay. So if I can just say one thing, I mean, if we can avoid cross-talking each other, I think, you know, the most important people are basically facing us right now. So let's stick to basically addressing them and keeping to that. And if everybody will get the chance to respond to anything that's said for them. So I'm going to keep it as fair as possible, yeah?
We shouldn't have to respond to stuff. Let's keep it
Yeah.
with a yes, a simple
Yeah.
answer. Let's keep the answers to the question.
Okay.
And let's keep the 30 seconds.
Are we okay with that? If you just want to give a thumbs up, I'm going to give Bernice still the opportunity to respond to something that was said about her. So, thumbs up? All thumbs up? Okay. So, where's the mic? I'm going to... So,
That wasn't initially what was said. It said thumbs
it's
up.
okay. Let's get back on track. It's okay. We will get bogged down otherwise.
I'm going to, I think, restate the question that the young lady had asked is, are we in support of Cityhood Measure D? And I'm going to make this, I'm going to stay within the time frame. Initially, and I was at the LAFCO meeting, and I've been at Mountain House since the inception, and I've been on the board since the board has began. And in my mind, the LAFCO report was okay, but it had some stipulations, and those stipulations were bothersome to me. It was some things that I didn't feel that was in place. But I did more due diligence and talked to the residents that feel that we're in line and supportive of Measure D going into Cityhood, because I know that's something that was planned out that we would eventually do. My question was that the LAFCO had put some things in place that, yes, your property taxes or your special assessment is going to have to hold at 4%, at least that, and at some point you may have to raise it. That's information that I think everybody had knows, because there was noise going around that Cityhood, there would be no increase in taxes, and that is a lie. Taxes have gone up. Every year, does your property tax drop? No. So that was false information. And based on that, I had my reservations. But since then, if this is the direction that the town wants to go in, I bought in here to stay. And I am for incorporation, because people now know, they have sense enough to know that your taxes are not going to go down. Thank you.
Yeah, so I am for the reason is,
Else to ask a question. So if anybody else has a question, step on the mic. Don't be shy. Ask your question.
Hi everyone. Thank you for your time tonight. I just have a question, because I remember reading a WhatsApp chat about maybe a couple of months ago, where someone was mentioning about buying a land to build a mosque, like it's mainly for the Muslim part, and that caught my attention a little bit. And then I heard that in order for that purchase to finalize or to be approved, and this is mainly for the mayor, because I think that that is one of the new authorities that the mayor will have power over voting that or not. Is that true, that any of you guys has been approached that only if the Muslim community support that person, then that the purchase of that land can be finalized? Well, the question is that at least like in my case, I saw it on a WhatsApp chat about a proposal to build a mosque. I don't remember exactly where, but it was a talk on a WhatsApp chat about a purchase of land for the Muslim community. so that they can basically build some school, a mosque, and all that. But then I also learned that that land approval can be, approved faster if, no, I'm not. But that's why I wanted to know what happened with that project, what happened with it.
I think we got your question, so if anybody wants to. I think the question is, were any of you involved or approached in that regards? I could answer it, but
I was not approached, and I have seconds left.
I mean, I didn't approach for this case, but because I have been helping the spiritual centers, but these are county lands, for help, finding a land, because I found a land for one of the spiritual centers, or similarly found it, but that doesn't include any permissions related. But anyway, I mean, if it's not under city, if it is a county land, if they buy and then they wanted to put a spiritual center or masjid or any church, of course, we will approve as long as they are under the regulations, what the state regulations we have. So we should.
No, I was not approached by anybody asking for my permission to buy land, sell land, build a mosque, or anything else.
So speaking on behalf of the board, if I may, I don't think any of us have control over how land acquisition happens, and that anything that somebody did acquire would have to be zoned properly. But I was not asked, or I'm unaware of the circumstances under the question or what WhatsApp said. But it would have to be zoned properly. That's the first and foremost. And we have parcels of land that are zoned for religious reasons. I'm not aware of any acquisitions at the moment, aside from the Zaytec community purchasing some land from Trimark, which I believe has either gone through or was in process. But CSD doesn't oversee, just like we don't oversee the transfer of private property and homes.
Can I make a comment? Yep. So same, I have not been part of any such discussions. But we know we are proud to be citizens of this country, where we have freedom of practice of any religion, faith we choose to. And then as long as Matt said, for example, as long as the rules and regulations of any particular city are followed, we see in our neighboring cities, we have different places of worship. And as again, Matt said, zoning, for example, any specific codes, city codes that are enforced for such structures, as long as those are followed, that's what it matters.
Question. I'm thinking about what she asked, and I really would like for her to clarify that, because thinking about it, I'm maybe not sure what she asked, because now, are you asking, is the approval of a land purchase based on whether or not they're going to vote for a specific candidate? Is that what you're asking? I just wanted to get real clear on her
Yeah,
question.
so that's why I'm like, I was curious, because I heard that and then I didn't hear anything else. So I was curious why that didn't move forward. And what I heard is that the approval of that happening can move faster if the community vote for a specific candidate.
Okay, that's what caught me at the. I thought about it, and I'm like, wait. So Hopefully, that is not happening.
And that's why I was wanted to make sure that regardless of who become the mayor and the city council, you guys, the team, will do the right thing to make sure that that happen, regardless whether it's one or two, whoever get into that seat, you will all do the same thing. So there's no fast forwarding things if I got elected versus someone else.
So we run unilaterally.
Dan wants to answer, so I just want to make sure that everybody's got a fair chance. Yeah.
Clear, 'cause that doesn't sound good.
I don't know what I think the question, if I got the actual essence of the question was whether you've been approached by anybody.
So the question is really about.
Okay, in the interest of time, Andy, do you want to say anything on it, or?
Yeah, I just know though that, no, I haven't been approached. I'm not aware of it. But a mayor is only one part. We all get to vote. The mayor doesn't get a final vote, or it's up to the mayor. It's up to the whole board. Okay, so just to clarify that, if somebody has said, oh, if this mayor makes it or whatever, they're going to make the decision, that's not true. Okay, the mayor has no more powers than anybody else on the city council. Okay, if that clarifies that.
Yes, that's what I wanted to clarify.
So that's what I'm come on. So the way our town is set up as a city, we'll have a weak mayor. Just two type of mayors. One is weak mayor, one is strong mayor, right? Weak mayor is that all the council members had the equal power to vote for that, yes or no. And the strong mayor is like city of Oakland has a strong mayor. So that one guy can make more decisions than so it's none of us, if we elected, have the power to approve such things.
Okay, thank you. That's what I want to clarify. Thank you.
Let me, is this on? Well, I'll do maybe a follow-up and a broader question. I'm not looking for anyone who's going to say no. I just want to know if anyone is going to say yes in the interest of time. Have any of you talked to any developers, landowners, in a way that would encourage them to think that your position, if elected, would be more favorable to them if somebody else was elected? So I just want to know if anyone has had any discussions with anyone who owns land or is a developer or a property owner who is looking to develop land in Mountain House or in our surrounding immediate adjacent property lines.
That's a yes or no answer. I'm on record, no.
No?
He was asking only yes.
Hello. So I face this lot of questions when I'm going for the campaign with a couple of my friends. And hello. Yeah. And a couple of cities in California already made a resolution. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm trying to is like some of the cities in California made a resolution on this person. I'm going to ask. Recently I studied in Oakland. They also made a resolution on this. So the question is, when you become a city, what is your resolution on Israel-Palestinian ceasefire? Do you support?
No. So I support the ceasefire, and some worldwide leaders should come and settle that ceasefire, and there should be no violence. So I can answer that, Arjun. So I'm for the peace, for the Palestine, and Palestine need to have their home. And they've been fighting for that for so long time. And there's no place for the violence. And worldwide leaders, including the United States and major powers, should get together and bring those countries to peace. There's enough bloodshed there already.
As an Army officer, I refrain from answering any of these questions because it will it'll jeopardize my promise to my country. Over.
And I am for the peace. We need a peace, and peace can only be achieved with the bilateral discussion between the two parties. And we need peace there, and I'm all for ceasefire.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm for peace in the region, but I'm also for peace in the rest of the world. War is not meant for this this civilization, so I think we need to all work harder to make peace in the world.
This one too. Yeah. So actually, I mean, everybody likes peace. I don't think we need to answer for that. So we need to be, but we need to maintain the integrity and then, peace in between us, and then anything like, we need to, as a community, we are living with a vibrant religious or anything. So what we need to do is like, we need to closely work together if there is any sensitive issues from worldwide is influencing us. So we should feel the Mountain House, people moving here for quality of life, quiet life, and education. So we should focus on that. If there is any worldwide emotions coming in, we need to work together to maintain a peace or to maintain our controlled emotions within our community. So for that reason, we need to maintain integrity as together. Thank you.
My answer to that is this. Along the lines with Ms. Bernice, charity begins at home, so let's be the example that we want to set forth.
Okay, the specific question to the ceasefire, yes, it should happen now. And then living in peace with two nation theory side by side, both living in harmony, that is what should be our future there.
I think Gandhi says it best, be the change you want to see in the world, right? So to piggyback off of what several have said here, we have Israeli neighbors. We have Palestinian neighbors. We have Afghani neighbors. The list goes on. I don't treat anyone different when they text me. I don't even look and see who it is. Same thing for Messenger, and I wish everyone could hold that same value when they interact with each other, whether it's here or abroad. We up here can't control what's going on in the world. Do we have different opinions? Possibly. Is it our place to pledge allegiance to one or the other, which then pits us against each other when we speak publicly on these things? I see it happening way too much right now with all the different things going on between Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Palestine. It's not our fight, it's the world's fight. Bloods, Crips, whatever. But it is our fight in our heart. But us pledging allegiance, taking a side, putting that out there, it's gross. It tears people apart. It's the same thing that tears people apart through politics. And it hurts to see people expressing whatever they think inside as an uninformed decision. They're not in the front lines. It's not their decision to pledge allegiance. You pledge allegiance to America. That's why you live here. You may have family connections there. I understand. I feel for you. I really do. My family's from New Zealand. We've never seen war. But again, it starts here. Everyone should express empathy on both sides. It's beyond this table's control, and I don't think the question is really relevant to why we're all sitting here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we peacefully shared one mic between 11 people, so congratulations.
I wanted to ask a follow-up actually on the same question. You're saying, some of you actually say that this is not relevant. I think it is relevant because this is, it's not Mountain House politics, but it's American politics. The people who are funding the genocide there are sitting in Washington. So it's American problem. My question to you is to make it more a yes or no. If we call you, upon you, when you are sitting in the city council to support a resolution to call for a ceasefire, would you do that or not? Thank you.
Yes.
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 Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes on ceasefire.
Yes, and may peace prevails.
Yes on ceasefire.
Absolutely yes on ceasefire.
Thank you. Anybody else? I mean, question?
I have a simple question for all the people who are participating. We have a 350 to 400 million debt, Mountain House, before we get become a city. Please provide your vision. I'm not looking why it happened. I'm asking for, please provide your vision, how to get rid of it, and a timeline, not 10 years, 20 years. Give us some insight.
I'm going to pass it on to contestants. Go ahead. Whoever's got the mic can go first. I just wanted to say, those who are watching the live stream on YouTube, I really apologize. There is no way for us to take questions on the live stream. We're going to have more than enough questions here locally, so I had to prioritize on that.
Hello? Okay. Thank you for your question, Dr. Sinha. If everybody's willing to pay a few $100,000, we'll be free of debt. Every household. Don't beat me up. That's one thing. But the debt is going to increase, as we all know. We're building more villages. The builders, you know, as much as we keep a tab on the builders, we have to understand that they're building us. If they're giving us millions of dollars and building our parks and houses, in a way we should be to some extent thankful to them, but keep them accountable, keep them on their toes, right? So to answer your question, sir, it's going to go up. But we need to bring in the right businesses. We need to be fiscally, the team we're going to have eventually, fiscal accountability to pay as much as we can, seek the right opportunities when the interest rates go down. And recently that was seeked, and you know, the bonds and you know, things we had, we were able to tweak it to smaller interest rate. This is how we're going to be paying slowly. There's no other way. Over.
Thank you. So yes, we got the debt almost right now close to $310 million. In 2021-22, we paid off about like almost $70 million. But that debt is coming up again. You know, news infrastructure comes in, and they put us a bond on the CSD, and it's keep on going. We pay first come, like Trimark was the first developer. We paid them off. I think CSD or we don't owe any money to Trimark anymore. But the new developers, whatever parks they put it up, roads they put it up, they put a bond on us. So the way to pay that off is right now, whenever we issue a permit for the house building, and we charge CIF and TIF, which is community impact fee and traffic impact fee. And that fee is used to pay that debt. And we are growing. We are almost 7,800 houses. Fully built will be about like almost 1,600,000 houses. So we'll get more revenue to pay that off. And we'll get more revenue through the bringing new businesses here, getting sales tax from them, and getting permit fee and all. That definitely, it will not go away immediately, but down on the road, when we are fully built, it will go away. Thank you.
I'll be honest, Umar, this is not a 30-second answer, but of course, this is also a little bit unfair. I've been on the board for the last 15 years, and I've read the annual reports for the last 15 years. I actually probably understand the finances more than most of the people on this board, other than Bernice, who's been with me. The 300 and something odd million, sorry, the debt that you're talking about, most of that debt is the water infrastructure, which is a completely separate fund than TIF and SIF and the other developer. Those aren't even debts. The real debt we have is when they built in the infrastructure of the water plant and all the sewage and stuff. And the reason why it kept climbing is because when we started, let's say initially in 2003 it was $100 million. Well, the developers charged us interest on that money. And when in 2003, when only 2 people lived in Mountain House and they paid their bills and they paid their $100 a month, it didn't make a debt, right? So every year that debt kept growing. But after about 20 years, we're finally at a point where we have 7,500 houses. We're finally at a point where, you know how every month you have that water bill that you guys all hate, the $100 that goes to pay for that utility? That money, now finally we're paying enough, we're collecting enough to pay the interest off. So now it's not growing. So will they continue? I'm sorry, TJ, but it actually will go down going forward. As we get more houses in Mountain House, right now we have 7,500 houses. When we're at 10,000 houses, guess what? We're collecting more money than the interest. So every year we're going to pay it down. Just like we were in a negative amortization loan before, but now we're collecting enough, we're going to start paying it off. Is it going to be paid off in 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? That depends on the pace of growth in Mountain House. When do we get to 10,000 houses? When do we get to 13,000? When do we get to 15? If we get to 15,000 houses by tomorrow, of course we would pay it back faster. But if we get to 12,000, you know, if it takes longer, so nobody can tell you exactly how long is that going to, nobody can predict 50 years down the road. But that debt will actually go down going forward. So, sorry, TJ. The TIF and SIF, TIF is transportation, SIF is community facilities. Those are not debts. Those guys, I'm sorry, you guys don't, some of you guys probably don't understand this. Every time a developer comes in and says we want to build a house, we collect some money from them. We hold it in our account. Then they go build a park, right? And then after they build the park, they take away some of that money to reimburse them. That's not a debt. The debt is the water plant. So again, the developers building houses does not cause us to have more debt. The developers building streets does not cause us to have more debt. Those debts, those fees are collected up front when they build houses. Every house they build, we collect some money. And when they build the infrastructure, we pay them back. Those are not debts. So the only debt we have is when Trimark put in the water plant and the infrastructure and those, you guys know the big round things out on by Byron. Those things cost over $100 million, and they've improved it over the years. And because we weren't paying enough for the interest, that debt grew. But now we're finally at a point, I think we're close, or maybe a little bit over, we're actually paying down on the debt. And when they talked about the refinance, I was part of the board that did that. What we did was when we collect the money from all of you guys every month, when it gets to a certain number, and when it gets to $10 million, the Trimark made this very complicated. When it gets to $10 million, they want us to buy a bond to pay them back the $10 million. So they get their money back, but we actually still owe the money. And the interest is based on whatever interest it was, over the years that we've sold these bonds. But in 2021, like Director Dillon said, I don't think we all should take credit for it, even though we're the board that voted for it. The general manager decided it was a good idea to refinance because interest rates are super low. So all those loans that we had at 4, 5, 6%, we refinanced down to 2, 3%. So that transaction, again, the people on the board, we can take a little credit for it, but the general manager went and refinanced all those loans, and we saved $50, $60 million. So, right? You were, yeah. Director Harrison, I mean, this is a long process. So we took our, when we had the opportunity to refinance, save the community money, we did. So again, to go back to your original question, the debt will go down at some point. The negative, and again, hate to rain on everybody's parade, but the problem is in 50 years, the water plant will not be state of the art. We may have to upgrade, and so will there be new debt then? Maybe. But this debt will continue to go down for now. Sorry I took a long time, but that was a long,
That's fair. And just in all fairness, Andy, I gave you some latitude from a time perspective because you were late and you didn't get the opportunity to do the introduction. So I'll let you use that time up, So I just want to make sure that everybody understands why I let that happen.
Thank you. So I had this data initially about this water issue, which essentially the debt being talking about, as Andy said, that essentially this is a water agreement between the BBID and the MHCSD. And the water treatment plant that again was talked about, that 15 million gallons per day and now being raised to 20 million gallons per day. So in this we have a contractual obligation basically that we have to adhere to and be cognizant about. Until then, that we will continue to have this debt. And to offset this debt in terms of the plans that I have had discussions with the general manager, that we would be having this old river to offset that, to generate more water supply, which will kind of augment our current water supply that we have. Yeah, 2 times more. Yeah. So that's the kind of a way forward which will essentially drive us towards more of a solution to this problem eventually.
Thank you. I believe that the gentleman's question was what we're going to be doing, or is there a plan to pay off the debt? And that's what I want to address. In anything, we need to sit down, just like when you got ready to buy your home. You started setting aside money, just like it's a regular bill. You set aside money in the pot, and to get these things done, that's what we need to do, is actively put aside money like it's a regular bill and put a trajectory on when can we have it paid off aggressively, and be able to say we have a plan, we can stick with it, and it looks like in whatever year, going on this trajectory and putting money aside, that debt would be paid off. But I think that's why I hear him said, what kind of plans are we doing? And we need to actively do that. Put it on a plan whereby we know what direction we're going, and we're setting aside X number of dollars systematically to make ourselves whole.
Congratulations to all of you. I have a couple of questions. I have 2 questions in main. One question which is related to my issue, where I am staying. Another question to a follow-up question to what you have, or the candidate's experience come into play. If the general manager is answering your question and you're acting on general manager.
And give the other person, next person in line. And we have a couple of questions online, and we are kind of...
Okay, sorry. Thank you for your question. The general manager is very important. He's the CEO of the company. It's important to have a very experienced general manager, city manager, but it's also important to have a very experienced mayor and council. If the council and mayor are not experienced and tell the general manager to go in the wrong direction, well, guess what? He's going to go in that direction. So both are important in this case. Thank you.
If you can answer with your experience rather than, yeah. Yep.
Thank you. So I really worked very closely with our general manager. He's very experienced, but as a mayor or as a directors, we know a lot of things, but sometimes there's technicalities we have to consult our GM to answer those questions to the public. Thank you.
All right, I'm a newbie in town. Currently, I am running an exercise as an OCT at Fort Hunter Leggett, and we actually build a city over there for 5,000 soldiers, all the sustainment which comes in, and we wet them. Whether it's a hospital, you know, a cash, 250 beds, preventive medicine, veterinarians, dental, forward surgical teams, water source folks, MPs, infantry, armor, everybody. We have a budget, so we all responsible for it. All I'm going to say is we must look at the educational background. If everyone on this table has that, even if they're new, we can somehow deduce it down to, okay, are these folks capable of doing something or not? Over.
Thank you, Sajjad, for asking the question. So experience is definitely required, but not necessarily always. As long as the person knows what the problem is, if he has problem-solving skills and he has ideas that he can share with the general manager and he can work with the council, that's what is important here. Having experience it really does not matter. Yes, it is required, but as long as you have a problem-solving skills and you can anticipate the things and you have a roadmap defined and designed to troubleshoot the issues, then you are you have all that experience. You don't really need to have years of experience for doing anything. If that is if experience is the only requirement for anybody to run the office, then none of us, like any software engineer, will be looking out of job and looking for the jobs. No, that is not what it is. What you need is a creative ideas. That's what the important.
Yeah.
So I had Sajjad and then you start.
Sorry. So to address the question, I'm not sure if when I said the word general manager, you wrote the question right away. But for me, as a city council candidate who doesn't happen to be incumbent, for me, I use a general manager as a source of information. I'm a big believer of all decisions to be made which are data driven. So for me, a general manager becomes a source of information, and then I slice and dice the data that how the decision making should be done or how it is being done, and that's what my privilege is at this point in time, to have access to this data from general manager. Thank you.
Thank you. My comment, and hopefully is answering your question, is that it's important for, number one, the council to work cohesively, but be single-minded and give the general manager or city manager, as it would be, more direction. That we get direction and find the wills of the community. And that's why the community needs to come communicate what is needed, what you want. But I think it's important for the council to work together and be able to communicate and get outside of oneself if you're in that, and be able to give the general manager direction, because the general manager works for the city, works for the council. So I think the general manager needs more direction on the will of the community.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody understands his question or not, so why are you not answering the questions, and why are you directing the public questions to the general manager? So that's what his question is actually. So So general manager reports to the council, so he doesn't report to anybody. And then general manager works with, he has a full power. General manager works with all the staff. I don't remember the exact number of staff. And 8 hours full-time job, maybe he works 12 hours. So he has complete information and then complete knowledge on any subject. So the council member's job or role here is work with the community, connect with the community, understand the community problems, and work with the council member, build a policy and procedure, and then put it onto the agenda and request general manager to work it out. So he has more knowledge on any subject, any item. So our job is to give it a direction, you know, and make policy, and then so he will come back with the solution for the problem. I mean, problems are the solutions for what we decided as a council. So we have no right to directly work with him. So that's why he's more knowledgeable on any question. So that's why the board redirects to get the answer from him.
I think that I would hold on to this, and that answers. Thank you for your clarification. Let me ask.
So before you do, Sujat, I have two questions because I mean, we are running over time. I want to ask if there is anybody else in the audience. If there is nobody else in the audience who wants to ask a question, then I'll give you a chance. Because anybody else? Because I have like maybe one or two questions that I can take from the audience, and I have two questions. And remember, these folks, I know some of them have come directly here from work. They've not even have lunch, so I have lunch for them as well. So I have a break room set up for them. So
I can also recommend you, because everybody is here to ask questions, and they are here to answer the questions. I would recommend you to keep the podium on such that they all answer the questions too.
Yeah,
because they are answerable to everybody, right? I would recommend.
And I appreciate that.
Thank
so
you. I have this question.
You really need to respect the process that we have in place. You know, so they are other people. So I want to give them the opportunity.
Okay.
So it's unfair.
Okay, I'll come back.
Yeah. Thank you. So there was somebody else who had a question.
Hello and good evening. My question is primarily for mayoral candidates, the three candidates we have. Thank you for the initiative. If the city council wants to chime in, you can chime in based on what your role would be if elected, but it's primarily for mayoral candidate. So if you were to become the mayor, how do you plan to maximize the services to the community while preventing any tax increase?
So benefit of becoming the city will bring lot of services, and we can tap on those services which we were already depending on the county, and we'll have more say in the county, like as council of governors. We'll have one person either from one of the council member will be in that committee, which will fight for our rights and services which are depending on coming from the state and the county. Again, transportation committees and other development, health committees, public health will have a say. Right now, we don't have any seat from Mountain House who represent us there in the county. So we are getting more taxes, and services will be will not go down. We'll make sure the services, people get better services than what we are getting it right now. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think just to summarize, you want to know what we're going to do to improve services but not increase taxes. I always bring this up because over the last 13 years I have voted against special tax increases, and my answer every year, sorry, Bernice and I fight over this. You know, we like each other and work together, but we're on taxes. Well, yeah, we respect one another, although on taxes we're on opposites. My answer every year is always the same: increase operational efficiency. That's how we provide more services without raising taxes. Thank you.
So here is the thing. When LAFCO recommended we become a city, LAFCO clearly said the special taxes should go up by a maximum up to 4%. So if we are differing with LAFCO's recommendation, then we need to have some things in place, because that is the only way to generate the revenue. How are we going to generate the revenue if we are not following the LAFCO's recommendation? That is critical. It will go up, whether somebody agrees to increase. vote against the increase of the taxes or not, because it's a board decision. It's three, as long as you 3% says yes, it will go up, irrespective of whether 1 or 2% says no. But we need to bring more businesses in. That's how we can bring the taxes down. But can we do that right now in the next couple of years? Probably not. Probably not. We are not there at where we can say our taxes will go down from this time onwards. We have to work for that. Thank you.
So I'm going to pose a question back to you guys, because obviously we promised a format, and part of the format was to have a breakout session where you're going to engage with the community members. I see 3 people lined up, if I affirmed right. Brother Tariq, you just standing, or you had a question? Yeah, okay, so I was reading it right. So I have 3 more questions here. I mean, we can call this session a wrap if that's a consensus. Yeah, do the closing, and then, I mean, because I think we're running over the time that we are scheduled, and I do want you to have the opportunity of interacting with individuals in a one-to-one sitting, because that was what was promised, and I want to make sure that I deliver on that. And I know some people need to take a break, grab some food. There's only so much you can do on an empty stomach, so I want to respect that as well. So if I can just get a show of hand if you want to take more questions right now, or if you want to, for more questions, if you can raise your hands. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I have 6 which say, so the majority rules. Suresh, did you say yes for more questions, or do you want to break out? He's already taken his break, so I'm going to... You can ask the question when people come to you one-to-one. So, yeah. Yeah, I think we need to be respectful. We had a format. Bernice, you had a comment?
Yes, I would like for...
There's a mic.
I'll just talk loud. I would like for us all to be respectful at this table and adhere to the functioning capability of 30 seconds. And at the appropriate time, I have a question for the community that I'd like to have answered.
So I think if we're doing that, then we can just have closing remarks from each one of them, and you can put those questions. Obviously, the community is not going to answer. Yeah. So we can do that right now. I think in the interest of time, I think we have overrun. I think it's unfair for those who have actually agreed to a format. We need to stick to that. So I'll start from my right to left. Let's have 30 seconds closing remarks, and then we can move. I mean, anybody's got additional questions, they can come to your booth and ask the question. Because I know, Matt, you need to catch a flight as well, so I think it's unfair otherwise. Yeah.
Sure. So I had a different closing statement, but I'm going to pivot here a little bit. The devil's in the details, and my past has been exposed, which I don't run from. Otherwise, I would have paid to have it sealed. So let's address this here and there, right now. And the people, I think, probably are in the middle of doing that while I'm here at the panel, unaware of what they're posting online. I'm going to own it for you. Yes, I have 1 DUI, not 2, from a decade ago. I learned my lesson. I didn't serve any time for it. You don't serve time on a first DUI. You spend the night in jail, you sober up, you get released. You don't even have to post bail. My record's been clean ever since. Prior to that, yes. In college, I was arrested in possession of steroids on a school, college campus. I have no problem owning my mistakes. That's more than I can say for others up here with different mistakes who have no comment. And so part of this attack was centered over me speaking out at a board session against somebody violating penal codes by placing campaign signage on not 1, not 2, not 3, several dozen properties with people. So I'm sorry, I'm deviating. I'm just letting you know I have no problem owning my mistakes. I am a transparent person, and I've never hidden from this, and my name is not legally changed. You can run on the ballot for what people know you by. And being a DJ, yes, I am Matt Disco. But on paper, I am Matthew David Ernest, date of birth 11/24/1982. And if you have any further questions, I have no problem answering them here, owning my mistakes, privately or publicly. Thank you.
In my closing statement, I would try to revise. I'm not sure if you had chance to see a video I sent this morning because of the essential need for all of us, which is the deadline for tomorrow, February 20th, for vote registration. And I have come across many residents here in Mountain House who have the right of vote, but unfortunately have not registered for the vote. And then another scenario I did mention that if you had registered for the vote and voted in the past, but you may have recently moved to Mountain House, please do remember that you cannot expect your name to be on the voter list on the March 5th election day. You will have to register yourself with Mountain House residents. Second, coming to quickly, that when you vote, please make an informed decision on choosing what you vote for, Major D and Major E. It's all our choice, whatever you want to. And then I would close by, was it 30 seconds? Sorry, 1 minute? Okay, and closing on this, that your vote on the ballot is more than a mark on the ballot. Please, it's a collective ability we have to show for how we can make the positive change. Let's be together on this journey and make it happen for the city of Mountain House. Thank you.
Well, this has definitely been exciting. I have a bunch of notes here, so if you guys want to meet me at my table afterwards, we didn't get to a lot of things. But I want to end with this, is that we've talked a lot over the past few months about Mountain House, what we want for Mountain House, and what initially Mountain House was built for. And we talk about the master plan. So I just want to reiterate what the master plan for Mountain House originally was. And that was to create a high quality environment where people of all economic levels can live and work, develop a distinct and unique new community that is separate from existing communities, develop Mountain House as a full-service community that will accommodate a portion of the growth projected by the 2013 General Plan for San Joaquin County in an orderly, well-organized development pattern, provide a lifestyle that is less reliant on the automobile, more involved with activities within the local community and neighborhoods, and more oriented to use of transit, bicycle, pedestrian transport. That we are to adhere to the goals of the Mountain House Master Plan, and that's why I want to be on your city council.
Thank you. Since this is closing remarks, I have been faithful to Mountain House since the inception. And I continue, if voted in, to be faithful. I care about the community. I care about everybody in the community, no matter who you are. But I do want to make a statement of fact. And that is what public comments are. I'm going to read a small excerpt. No action or discussion shall be taken on any item raised during public comment. And I'm saying that because there was some malicious, slanderous remarks that was on Facebook, which I wasn't privy to. I got several calls from the community expressing that. Slanderous comments about being racist, I guess, against Indians, and it was directed at myself, which is totally untrue, and Director Sue. So I'm just saying that there are certain things that when things are done in public comment, that's why governance training is so important, so you know how things are operated. There's protocols for everything. And I ask that this city really work together in a peaceful relationship. We don't want to be like other surrounding sister cities that are operating in an ill-willed manner. It does not. You believe me, I work with your kids every week. They listen and they look to what we as the adults do. What kind of example are we setting for kids? What kind of example are we setting for our future? We need to smarten up and be peaceful with one another and respectful for one another and stop the slanderous backbiting. It's not good. It's not a good look. Thank you.
So as we are discussed as a city council member, it requires the time time is very important, for everybody. So, and then this is a volunteer job. So we go to full-time job, and then we need a leader who demonstrated has time, for the past years of his living. On top of that, representation of the people, connecting with the people, getting the, feedback from the people or their requirement, and then bringing into the council members, and then work with them and make a resolution or make a policy. That is the city council role. And then the service-minded, so we have to demonstrate it. City council member, if he is applying in front of you, that he's supposed to be demonstrate that he has a service mind, he has time, he's put a volunteer, he's engaged with the community. That is all I was doing for the past 4 years since I moved, since 2020. And then the recent record, so I joined with the Rotary Club in 2022, September, and within a year, I have proven that I am the best Rotarian of 2023. Given a chance that if I am a city council, I will do the same, and then as a more responsible, accountable, transparency, and then improve the integrity in this community. And then I am committed and consistently work for you in this city council. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming here and taking out time today. Sorry. I just have a small thing to say. Our town is not a collection of streets and buildings. It is a community of people with diverse backgrounds, aspirations, and dreams. As a candidate for city council, I recognize the responsibility that comes with the role, and I'm ready to work tirelessly to represent you guys and the interest of all of us together. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Don't start my clock yet. I just want to actually thank everybody on this panel for stepping up and wanting to run for the city council or mayor. It's a thankless job. I've been doing this for 15 years. For the first 14 years, we got paid $100 a month. So it's essentially a volunteer job. So before taxes, that's right. I thought it was 92, but whatever. But and I think somehow last year they allowed us to increase it to $175. So big round of applause for everybody who is willing to serve the community. But let me go back to the closing statement. Why I think I would be the best mayor. I think most of you know that I've been on the board for the longest time. Bernice and I have been on since the beginning. So I definitely have the most experience. I've also done a lot in town. I want to give you two analogies. I'm a physician, so analogy number one, this is why experience is important. You're about to have your gallbladder removed, Lori, right? You meet one surgeon who's been doing it for the last 15, 20 years. He's done 2,000 surgeries. You meet another surgeon who says, I've never done this before, but I'm really good at fixing problem solving. Which one would you choose to cut your gallbladder out? Number two, and this is more for other people on this panel, and this is a good example too. You're about to go on a flight across the Pacific to Japan. I love Japan. Pilot on this side has been flying for the last 15, 20 years, has flown to Japan, I don't know, 500 times. Pilot on this side has never flown a plane, but he's a good guy, smart, can solve skills. Who do you want flying that plane for you?
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you Mountain House Muslim Association who have organized this forum today, and all the candidates who participated, and community members who came here to listen us. I know it's boring, but I've been working to the community for so long. Even I was elected before 2020. I'm for the community every time. I pick up the phone single time. If I have time, don't pick it up or reply right away. I don't know any of the mayor candidate does that. And I'll be full-time mayor because we're going to transition from CSD to a city. It's not easy. It looks easy. There's a lot of work, a lot of new rules, a lot of new agendas being written, right? right now, our bylaws are only 15 pages. So those will go up. So please vote and support me. And I have done so much work in medical, like Dr. Sue has done in hospital. I played a major role bringing vaccines to the Mountain House and Tracy area. In COVID era, pandemic, more than 180,000 vaccines were administered under my leadership. Out of them alone, more than 52,000 vaccines were administered in Tracy and Mountain House area. You name it, mask. When people were scared of getting outside, I was outside serving people with all those needs. So you need a leader who got the connections and working experience with the county and state officials. That's why Pat Widrow, who is our sheriff, he endorsed me. Ron Freitas, who is our district attorney, has endorsed me. All 5, there's total 5 supervisors in the county. Maybe they don't get along with each other, but all 5 has endorsed me. So although we are becoming a city, but we still need state and county help to bring the services here. In past experience, because there's a lot of grants which are untapped, and CSD, our city never got the grants. So now, becoming a city, we'll go and get the grants. No one is going to come and give you something. You have to go and get it. Thank you, and good evening.
Thank you, Omar Seer, for having us here. Thank you, everybody on this table. This is a very good experience for me. It's a learning curve for me as well too. My compass is integrity, very simple. I want a safe neighborhood for everybody in this town, including myself. I'll hold high standards and expect the same from others as well. My focus at the moment is on comprehensive health care in Mountain House and emergency services, which needs to be improved. Our seniors, community center need a lot of help as well too. I will be advocating for you guys. I will donate all the proceeds I will get from this position. I don't need it. Maybe some of the kids or the senior citizens, somebody I've talked to a few days ago, they said we are on Social Security and we cannot pay for the rooms, to have or bingo night, something like that. Maybe they can use that money. Please vote for me. I can make some changes, and I'll continue doing that. And thank you for having us.
Thank you, Omar, for bringing all of us on this podium. And thank you, everyone, for coming down here, asking right questions, and listening to us. Full transparency is core of my vision. Commitment, collaboration, and communication are very important for any governance. I care for every one of us. I care for the future of Mountain House. One request from every one of you is to come down and vote on March 5th. Your vote decides the future of this Mountain House city. You need a right leader. But a person who went to moon has no experience, but he went to moon and came down. What he has is the courage and commitment. That's what I'm bringing onto this table. I'm bringing a new dimension to what we can be, what we can do with we becoming a city. Please come out, and before you vote, just think twice before you cast, because this is our future, and our future lies with your vote. Thank you, and good luck to everyone here on this table. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Omar, for putting this together. I just wanted to be clear, and Matt, I hope you don't think I violated any penal code. Yeah, no, everybody that I've put signs up, I've got permission from, although I did, my understanding is that I did put some signs up on that was part of the right-of-way. But I blame the district for that, for not putting out correct information to people. They just went ahead and tacked all the candidates and removed all their signs without giving proper. In fact, even as today, some of the candidates that are still here have signs on right-of-ways, but I made sure that I took all mine and put them in the proper area where they're supposed to be, okay? No, I put signs, but I got permission from everybody that I
I
put
really
signs to.
appreciate if there's no cross conversation. I
Yeah,
think
I know.
we do one, we end up basically. So
But I just want to make sure, because there was an accusation that there was some violations of penal codes and stuff, so I just wanted to clear that up. Now, with my experience, as Dr. Sue has said, with him being a doctor, well, you know what, I have 39 years of law enforcement. Okay, my number one priority is public safety. Okay, so again, who do you want to be in charge of your public safety here? Somebody that has no experience or has experience of doing other things around the community, or do you want somebody who has experience as I do as in public safety? So again, I appreciate and I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
So I'm just going to close. Obviously, after this session, we're closing this session. There are breakout tables. Each candidate has their breakout table. You can engage with them, ask them direct questions, and continue the conversation. And see any additional questions that you have. Personally engage with the candidates and get a feel for who they are, in a more direct personal circumstances. I just want to thank everybody who came. Really appreciate it. Anything that happened good is down to you who came here and the candidates who came here. Anything that went wrong, I take full responsibility for it. And I apologize. This is just an effort. We are human. But, you have to own up to do something and fail at it so that you can do it better next time. I think it was much needed, to have an opportunity where the candidates, since this is a very transformative event in the history of Mountain House, so I thought it was really important to actually make this happen. And without the cooperation of, all 11 candidates, this couldn't have happened. I know some people have made, really some personal sacrifices to make time for here today, and I'm genuinely appreciative of that. And with that, I'm going to close this session. And so Matt needs to leave in 15 minutes. I know he has a flight to catch. So if anybody has a question to him, reach out to him and before he disappears and does something much more exciting than this. I'm going to close, and people can come up to you, Bernice.
Get an answer for, but I have a question of the audience, the community. I'd like to know, how can the community, what ideas can the community think of that we can you better communicate what it is that you want and what it is that you need, because you can be only effective when you're meeting folks' expectations. So actively think about what can happen, your suggestions for people starting to communicate and have a dialogue with what it is you need and how you want things. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernice, for that. And once again, thank you everybody who took out time today, and thank you for everybody who's watching on YouTube live stream. I do apologize, audio is not the best, and like I said, anything that went wrong, I put my hand up and take responsibility for it. Thank you. So for the candidates, I do have some food for you in the back room. I know there were snacks for everybody else, and just appreciate you coming. So